So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight. Had the time of my life. When the words fall down like blues on Tuesdays gone down. Throw it all away.
Welcome to another episode of American Timelines. I'm Amy,
I'm Joe.
and today we have a special guest.
We do. We have a special guest all the way.
What's your name, sir?
Franklin Pierce to Nipples.
Yes, it's Franklin,
Franklin
Pierce
Pierce
Nipples.
Nipples.
Boom.
Okay.
No, my name's Andy.
Oh, it's Andy.
And this is Joe's brother, Andy. So I
Yeah.
am officially ganged up on.
If you think back to episode 3, we mentioned him briefly that he had a giant head and that he graduated high school in 92.
Yes.
That's right.
And so,
This episode, we are delving into 1997.
Yes, which was a year after I met Amy.
That's right.
this is episode 8. This is the year that Amy and I fell in love.
True magic love.
We
That's
made
right.
out under a tree in front of an elementary school.
That's right.
And that's not weird because the school was not in session.
That's right.
So let's delve right into 1997, shall we?
1997. What happened?
I
In
moved
1997.
to California.
Oh, you moved to California in 1997 from
Early
Ohio.
1997.
Yeah, that's right.
Super Bowl Sunday. The Green Bay Packers won, I believe.
Fuck
Over
the Packers.
the I don't think it was the Seattle. I can't remember.
It was the
exactly.
Patriots because
Was
it's
it
in my.
Patriots? Oh, okay.
It's in my.
He's
stuff
got
here.
plenty of sports. Just don't you worry
Actually,
about that.
we're skipping over the much of the Super Bowl because I don't want to talk about the stupid Packers.
Oh, okay. Thank God for me.
Well, thank God for me too because I hate the Packers.
That's right.
Packers really weren't that great at all. It just happened to be
Yeah.
luck, and they're terrible. And
All
I hate
right.
them.
So what happened in 1997?
1997.
Bands that formed in '97.
Okay.
And bands that broke up in '97. So I'm
All
going to
right.
do formed first. And Andy knows probably a little bit more about music than we do, so this might be good. He'll
He
tell
might
us
know,
who some of these
yeah.
are. So 97, the following bands formed, and sometimes it's Andy for your knowledge. Sometimes it's surprising that shit, that band was around then or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
So here are the bands of note that formed in 1997.
All right.
Death Cab for Cutie,
Oh yeah.
they formed.
Yeah. I
You
don't
know who
remember.
that is?
I don't remember what they singing.
I don't think you would know. I looked up all their songs. I don't know a single one. It just sounds like Brant Fundak's music.
It is.
Which is,
I believe Ram Fundek introduced me to them.
It's like alternative nerd rock.
Okay.
It's like
Nerd
the
music.
pop stuff. Yeah, I mean it's very dramatic stuff. The guy, Ben Gibbard, I think is the lead singer's name.
I think that's
That's-
right.
He also was in
Wow,
a
that's
band
pretty
called the
impressive.
Postal Service. That was like a one-hit wonder, like a thing where he did an album with some other guy whose name I can't remember. They like just send it through the mail to each other.
Well, you're just worthless for information.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He's going to give us
But I've got a
actually
couple of Death Cab albums.
part
Oh,
of the
okay.
theme of this podcast is that we don't
That
know
we don't know anything, and we
'cause
don't
we're-
really care.
Do you want me not to know anything?
No, it's good.
Yeah,
It's
we don't
actually
really care.
adding a different thing. So
We
we're
don't
going to be able to be like, hey, keep that guy
Yeah.
who knows stuff on because you guys are
Yeah.
idiots.
We don't check to see if anything is right. We
Yeah,
just we heard
afterwards,
something
that's-
happened and we
We think-
go with it.
yeah, we just think, I think this is the truth. And
Yeah.
then we just say it. And then that's why we have so many
That's right.
corrections and apologies. But
All
this is
right,
good.
I understand.
But this is good info. So Destiny's Child formed in
Oh
1997.
yeah.
One of their first hits was called Bugaboo, where they mention MCI and they want AOL to make their email stop
Okay.
They don't want emails?
because the guy is a bugaboo. Like, because he gave
Bugaboo? A
20
bugaboo.
minutes after I give you my number, you already have my mailbox full.
Oh, because he's bugging
So
him
what?
with email.
Bought a pair of shoes. Yeah, I know. that
Bugaboo. A
You
bugaboo. I didn't
do
know that was
know that song.
Destiny's Child. I only know that song from Andy. I was singing
Yeah.
it. Bugaboo. A bugaboo.
That's funny.
I have a question about Destiny's Child, if you guys
Okay.
know.
What?
I recently came across someone named Solange.
Yeah.
That's
Solange
Beyonce's
Knowles.
sister, right?
It's her mom, isn't it?
No, it's her sister, I believe.
See, if you weren't here, we would go ahead.
We would
because
say-
here's the thing about Amy.
What?
She'll be wrong, but
But
she goes full wrong. And she
Yeah,
like
well-
swears up and down. She was like, Lisa Marie Presley was married.
No.
or Drew Barrymore was married to Michael Jackson. I'm sure of it. You're wrong. I'm like, no, that's not. And so, in fact, when we get to the corrections and apologies, I have a couple where you
All
were like,
right.
this is exactly true, and you're way off
No,
all the time.
I very slightly off.
You're just
sometimes.
you're just one of those people who's a know-it-all. It's just like I said it's right, so it's right, and you're wrong,
Yes,
and I
well-
just let you win. So that's the nature
No,
of our thing.
that's very untrue. It's
So
very
we would,
unfair.
if you weren't here right now, we would go into until next episode. We would believing
Think
Solange
Solange
is Beyonce's
Well,
mom.
Beyonce's mom is like her manager, so that's why I
No,
thought.
her mom
that.
is Dionne Warwick.
No, see, no, that's not true either.
Flogging Molly. They started in
yes.
'97. Another kind of
Ska kind of band, I think.
kind of white
Oh, right.
white college
White
kid band.
Irish.
Yeah.
Uh,
kind of like the Specials or something.
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know a lot, but I think they do like Irish punk. like
Floggy Molly. I don't know.
Like punk ska, Irish,
Okay.
whatever that the standard Irish thing. This is St. Patrick's Day, by the way.
Oh,
so it's good
we're
to talk
recording
about.
this on St. Patrick's Day,
So
so
that works.
we're all a couple hop slams deep. We've all drank
You are a
3
couple.
hop slams.
You
Yeah.
have drank of the.
Well,
three
I'm
of-
on my 3rd hop slam.
What is that traditional, like, isn't all the, I'm thinking Irish music. It's like,
Celtic.
maybe it's an accordion or something, or that's always kind of in the background.
Who cares? Who
All right.
cares?
Yeah, okay.
Shut up. Shut up.
I'm going to shut up now.
Okay, here's your. Now, always add a sprinkle a little trivia in. So,
Were we doing that?
well, I'm
The
just
whole
saying
show
them
is
and you're
trivia.
listening to them, but this one I have you guess.
Okay.
What year do you think White Stripes formed?
1997.
Right. Right. You got it exactly
See,
right.
I know things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
White
that's right.
Stripes formed in 97. I should have formed that question differently.
You should have. That was not a.
But aren't
a
you
hint so
surprised?
much.
You are pretty dumb.
Aren't you surprised the White Stripes?
Yeah, I'm surprised they were around.
I didn't think it was
back
that
then.
long ago.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they must have played
But
for
then
a
again,
while
they
before
were
they.
like teenagers, didn't they? Like when they had Garage Band.
I think it was just him and his sister. They were married.
I think his sister's name was Solange.
Yeah.
No,
That's his mom.
Meg White is his wife. They were married.
Oh, is that
Jack
right?
White and Meg
I
White.
think I thought they were siblings.
But
for a
people,
long time.
there was a big rumor that they were siblings.
Oh, that
And
they were
married.
And
married. Ooh, but they're secretly siblings. That
Or,
kind of thing.
no, there was a rumor that they were actually. I can't remember what it was. They were. He did,
They were
he-
kind of like me and you, but
Something-
in music
I feel like I'm
world.
feeding in right now that
probably the greatest band in American history was also formed in '97,
Grand Funk Railroad.
and they're twins. The band is made up of twins.
Thompson Twins.
No,
Milli
in
Vanilli.
'97.
No.
I know. That's the only ones I
way
can think.
before.
The twins.
The greatest twin
Oh,
performers.
the tattoo. Those 2 girls from Russia.
I don't know what that
Tattoo.
is.
Oh, the
That's
thing
you just
said-
made
oh,
that
the
up.
thing just said-
That
oh,
was
the
a
thing-
dream
Yes,
you
and
had.
Nelson, but '97's way too.
Yeah.
That was a dream you had. There's no such thing as a tattoo.
You guys aren't going to get
Yeah,
this.
they did a pro wrestling theme song for wrestler Victoria. on WWE.
pro
Oh, my
wrestling.
God, I'm
Oh,
in hell
did you
now.
just bring up pro wrestling?
I'm in hell right now. I'm going to be totally overpowered this whole
This
podcast, aren't I?
podcast is taking a new turn.
I'm not going to get a word in edgewise, am I?
Well, 80s pro wrestling pics on Twitter tweeted about our show.
No.
So all the followers, they have on
So
Instagram
I have to listen
and
to more.
Twitter.
I have
So
to
we're
listen.
picking up a lot of wrestling fans.
Okay.
So they'll be happy that Andy's here.
Yeah.
No, it's you guys are both wrong. It's the Yin Yang Twins.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Don't know if I have either.
Booty, 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 rocking everywhere, rocking
Oh,
everywhere,
I do
rocking
remember that.
everywhere.
That sounds-
I found you,
All right.
Miss New Booty. Get us together. And
That's enough of that.
I still have not heard of them.
right, two men, the Yin Yang Twins.
You've just told me about them, and I have still not heard of them.
You're
No.
a terrible person for not liking
Yeah.
the Yin Yang Twins. Now on to the
Neither of us care.
the bands that nobody's ever heard of that have great names that were formed in '97.
All right.
And I'm just going to go through these quick. Goat Whore, Major Organ and the Adding Machine,
Dumb.
Nucleus Tom,
That's my new favorite name.
Omar Goodness.
All right.
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen! Oh my goodness!
All right, that's pretty
Now-
good.
I listened to some Omar Goodness, and I gotta say I like it.
You did like
so it's kind of like Weezer-ish maybe.
Oh, okay.
Pork Tornado.
That I like.
Yeah,
I
they're a
did
country band.
Pork
I'm
tornado.
kind of surprised they didn't go with Porknado, but I guess that was before the Sharknado.
You know what I should do? I go through these names, and you guess what genre they are.
Oh, that's a good
Pork
one.
Tornado. I already told you
Country.
country. Scrotum Grinder. What do you think?
That
Punk?
might have something to do with metal.
Nope. Close.
Punk.
Oh,
Punk.
Punk. Yes.
That's what I
I think
said.
they're punk. Okay. Here's the bands that broke up in
All right.
'97. 7 Year Bitch.
Oh, the.
You know who they are?
Yeah, they're in
And
the
Oh,
L7
that was
vein.
That was the other
The reason we talked about them, we talked about them in episode.
episode. 4. Was
Three?
it 3 or 4?
I think 3 was when we talked about that punk rocker that died, Maria Zapata.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mia Zapata.
Mia
did hear that
Zapata.
episode.
Because she was.
And yeah, there was you mentioned the Home Alive charity that was founded on her, and I had there was a double album that Pearl Jam did a song on.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So
you
you had
have
that
that album?
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
sweet.
Cool. Throwback to that episode.
Yep.
Anyway, 7 Year Bitch broke up in '97. Ass Factor. Oh, no, actually, I'm
Ass
sorry.
Factor.
Ass Factor 4.
Oh,
broke up.
okay.
Yeah. Not Ass Factor 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
Ass
All right.
Factor.
They're
Although
still
still
going-
fine.
they're still going strong.
Ass Factor 4 broke up. Okay. Bikini Kill broke up.
Yeah.
And I know them
Remember them.
because I talked about them because
Yep.
the lead singer was also involved in that whole thing because
Yep.
she's married to Ad Rock.
That's right.
Currently,
Yeah. She's currently married to Ad
Post-Ione
Rock.
Sky.
Yes. Post Ione Sky. Dinosaur Jr. broke up.
I remember them.
they've been not forever.
Oh, they got back together?
Yeah.
Well, they originally broke up in '97. So did
Technically,
EMF.
Brant Fundak will kill me for not exactly knowing this, but Dinosaur Jr. is basically a guy named Jay Mascis, and I think he just sort of
He's just one guy?
he's the main.
It's kind of a
guy.
dumb name.
The only thing I know about Dinosaur
a band.
Jr. is in college, a girl who was punk-ish, like she was, I don't know if she was trying to be punk or she was punky or whatever. And she was like, I love Dinosaur Jr. and she left that CD at our house. And then I was like, oh, this is what cool people that like punk like, and I try to listen to it and like it, and I just didn't.
He's kind of a weirdo sound. There was one song I knew and I can't remember.
I don't care. EMF broke up in '97. Mm-hmm.
That kept going.
EMF is gonna rock you.
All right.
Oh, that's KLF.
KLF.
Yep.
Oh, unbelievable. Oh, that's right. Andrew Dice Clay was in it. That's right.
Yeah, he was in the band.
The Fugees broke up in '97.
Oh, wow, that long ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
One time.
That drives me nuts. That song would be amazing if freaking Will.i.am didn't go one time in the middle. It's just this beautiful, killing me softly.
I don't think
cover
that's
by
Will.i.am
Hill.
that does that.
Isn't it? Isn't he the guy from the Fugees? They did Gone to November. I'll be gone.
No,
to
that's
November.
not Will.i.am. Will.i.am is from the Black Eyed Peas. That's
See, now he's gonna
Wyclef.
Wyclef Jean. All right. The point is, I don't like it when Wyclef Jean sings and that just yells one time in the middle of this.
One time.
I wish there was a version without that in it that I could have.
Soundgarden broke up in '97.
Oh, sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
I really.
They
I
were
love
so
Chris Cornell.
good.
Swallowing Shit broke up in '97.
No, really?
That's not a joke.
Oh, my God.
I didn't look up. I should have looked up what genre they were.
Yeah.
Tony broke up in '97. Although they're back together. Ugly Kid Joe.
I think
it's
Tony
terrible.
just couldn't get along with Tony anymore. Was that the problem?
Well, maybe Tony should have intervened.
I know he was always the mediator between the Tony and the Tony.
I know. If Tony would have just talked to Tony about Tony,
Yeah.
Tony would still be together.
Exactly.
Didn't they all have a
Unfortunately.
different spelling?
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Tony, Tony with a
That's so
line.
stupid.
But luckily, I think Tony did talk to Tony because now Tony's back together.
Thank God. For the rest of the world, thank
I
God.
think Tony left and never came back, so it's really Tony.
Okay. Tony and Mark.
Tony Mark.
Would Mark be with them if they had no loot?
If I had no loot.
Sorry, that's not too much
All right, what else? What else? What
If
else?
I had no loot.
material.
Swing with my nuts. All right. Urge Overkill broke up.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Ugly Kid Joe, I said we just breezed over it.
Yeah, that's
and Whitesnake broke up not till '97. So they were those poor fools were
They
trying
were like
to
at
make
Six
it work.
Flags in
Yeah.
Eureka, Missouri,
they did
playing.
work.
Six Flags.
They're
They
all.
made it work for a long time.
They were touring
While you're waiting in line for the
for the roller
killer
coaster.
creep roller
Yeah, it was-
coaster, here's Whitesnake.
Yep, that's right.
1997.
The Oscars really quick. Billy Crystal hosted it that year, and English Patient won everything from the
Yeah.
previous year. So the Grammys. Do you know who hosted the Grammys in '97?
Who cares?
No,
That's right. That's
they're
right.
awful.
Who wants a Grammy?
What?
Simpsons did a great joke once.
You hate the Grammys?
Yeah, I mean, who cares? It's always a lot of crappy music.
Miss
that's on there.
Gatros would be very disappointed in you.
You were into the MTV Music Video Awards.
Yes,
You
that
think those
I
are
was
better?
nuts about. No. But,
Are there any awards for music that you care about?
No.
The Fluffies?
I kind of hate award shows in general because there's 100,000 of them.
Well, you're going to hate this next part because the next
All
20
right.
minutes are award shows.
All right, let's talk about Grammys.
God.
No, Ellen hosted. Babyface won 6 Emmys. Or Grammys, sorry.
Emmys.
6 Emmys for
He's
a
on
show.
Days of Our Lives.
Oh, he won 6 Grammys. But here's the crazy thing. I thought Babyface just wrote all of BBD's music.
Yeah.
He had his own songs.
He wrote,
Yeah,
but he wrote, I can't believe how many. You know, we went to that
Yeah.
New Edition concert. He wrote everything.
Yeah.
But he won 6 Grammys. They're like, he won them from Eric Clapton songs. Like
Really?
everything that year, yeah.
Wow.
Whitney Houston songs. Like Babyface has done everything. He's
Yeah.
probably,
The most prolific songwriter.
yeah,
in the
he's
history of time.
yeah, he's American
Wow.
music.
I didn't know that.
Babyface. Like without Babyface, we would all be just
Yeah, I think like all hip hop R&B from 1987 until 2004.
probably. He's
He
all,
wrote all of it.
It's baby.
Wow.
It's just Babyface.
Just Babyface.
Yeah,
Yes.
that guy's
Crazy.
amazing. Yeah, you should date him.
No, I'm married to you.
I was talking to Andy.
Oh, okay.
1997.
Princess Diana was killed in Paris, France in
Oh,
a
I
car
remember
crash.
that.
while being
I
followed
was-
by
Your murder
paparazzi.
story?
No, but I.
No, I
yeah.
wish that was. You should talk about her.
Well, it wasn't a murder. Well,
We don't know.
We don't know.
It
You would have done
But
some
I remember
research
I was
and we would
out.
know.
I was out at the clubs and I was living at my mom's and I came home and
'cause you
turned on-
graduated.
I turned on Saturday Night Live and
They did a parody of Diana
no,
dying?
they broke in to Saturday Night
Oh.
Live and the news came on
Ooh,
that
yeah.
she died and it was kind of a big deal at the time.
Yeah, I remember like breaking news and it being crazy.
Right into Saturday Night Live.
And I always felt guilty because I always wondered, like, why does anybody care
Yeah.
about her? Like,
She did a lot of humanitarian stuff.
She really
though.
did,
She was
yeah.
She was a good person.
well, everyone just talked about how beautiful she was.
She really wasn't that
And
beautiful.
she really wasn't, but I
Yeah.
think compared to all the other British royalty,
Well,
she
we
was,
just lost all our British audience.
Yeah, sorry. Well, British royalty. I'm
Royalty,
saying.
yeah,
Like,
well, they're inbred. a
no
little
offense,
bit.
but
Yeah.
Prince Charles, not a looker.
No, that's right. That's true.
Not
You're
a
right.
looker.
You're right.
If he wasn't a prince, wouldn't get Fergie at all.
No, that's true.
Wasn't Fergie that he was married
No,
to?
that's-
Sarah Ferguson.
no,
They
that's-
called her Fergie.
Prince Charles did not marry Sarah Ferguson. She was
Yeah.
She was
Prince
the
Edward.
Duchess of-
Prince Edward's wife was
Same-
Sarah Ferguson.
whatever. Who cares? But she was also in Black Eyed Peas. So
No,
Yes,
she's
kind of cool.
She was.
Yeah.
She's gotten younger. The top song was "Candle in the Wind."
I remember that.
Because of Princess Diana.
Oh, it was about her.
He-
wasn't it?
no,
Well,
it was-
originally it was about Marilyn Monroe.
But he reworked it for her funeral called English Rose, and it was
Oh,
the same
geez.
thing.
Yeah.
He knows so much shit. We should keep him as like the keeper of the knowledge. Fucking zombie over here. Make like a fucking Heine O over there.
How exactly does Zombie?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just want you to
You
be
want
a
my
head.
head to be in the
That's your
box?
head, yeah.
Okay.
So we talked on about Elton John last week, and we both admitted I don't really like any of his music. I keep trying to like
a
it.
few
I just don't
songs.
like it.
There's a few here and there.
Like the one about the mouse and the cartoon or whatever. But did you know?
What?
Which one is the one about the mouse?
Are you
and the
talking? That's how
cartoon?
Michael Jackson. That's how Michael Jackson
No,
song.
he sang one of those like whole new world or something.
Oh,
or
that was a
new,
Lion King.
No, I don't know. Whatever.
You're thinking
Who
of Circle
cares?
of
That's
Life.
Aladdin.
Circle of Life. I don't. Whatever. Some mouse cartoon. Whatever. World Series champions of '97 were the Florida Marlins. I didn't look up
Okay.
anything about them.
They're from Florida. They're
Yeah,
named after
they were
fish.
relatively new because remember they
Yeah.
were an expansion team, but
Right.
I don't remember much else. The Super Bowl champions were the Green Bay Packers.
And then
But
they had yellow helmets.
I do have the national anthem was sung by a new thing I'm just talking about. The new national anthem that year was sung by Luther VD.
Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
Through venereal disease.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good when I say VD.
No.
Luther Vandross. He was still alive. Halftime show. You want to guess? No. You can't guess. 3 bands.
I don't know. Just tell us.
ZZ Top, James Brown, and the Blues Brothers.
Hey, I got James
Okay.
But it's not the real Blues Brothers because
No.
obviously John Belushi's dead. So it was John Goodman,
and Dan Aykroyd.
Dan
They're
Aykroyd,
promoting
and,
Oh.
Jim, and Jim Belushi.
I remember
yeah.
that.
They were, because they came out in '98, I think.
Yeah,
so.
There was 3 of them.
There
John.
was 3 of them. Yeah, I never
That's
saw
weird.
Blues Brothers 2000 because it was just like
There was like
Dumb.
there was like 5 of them, and one of them was a kid. So like, why would you watch that?
yeah,
That
just
sounds
run into the
stupid.
ground, why don't you?
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd was all bloated, so it's just like this is
They're not
Yeah.
even the real
whatever
Blues
was
Brothers.
cool about the Blues Brothers in the
It's
late
over.
70s.
It was over. Just
done.
Just
I
ended.
was
Let it
obsessed
go.
with Blues Brothers for a long time, but
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, the Chicago Bulls were the NBA champs. Detroit Red Wings were the Stanley Cup champs. The NCAA football champions and national champions were Michigan Wolverines, also Nebraska.
they had
2
they tied,
champions because they didn't. This was the last year before BCS when they actually had a championship game.
and that's why they said, "Fine, we'll do a BCS."
Yeah, I guess because Michigan. and
None of this.
Nebraska tied.
None of this makes any
Michigan
kind of
Wolverines are
sense
great.
to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
NCAA basketball champions, Arizona.
Wildcats.
Who cares?
Okay. This is the thing. Amy insists every year. She's
No.
like, I know everything about horse racing.
No,
so
I'm not guessing
I
the
know
fucking
all
horse
the
name.
horse winners, and I'll name them every fucking year from now until the end of time. I'm gonna do it forever. and
I
you can't stop
am
me.
not
You
gonna
should
guess
never-
the
yeah.
horse name.
So
That sounds
Andy,
like you're accurately representing her.
do you want to guess the horse winner, Andy?
Butthole
Andy.
Johnson.
Oh crap! You did your research.
Yeah, Butthole Johnson was the.
Oh no, I read it wrong.
Oh,
I read it
sorry.
wrong. Honest mistake.
Oh, no.
Silver Charm, not Butthole
Oh,
Johnson.
honest mistake was the name of the horse.
No, Silver Charm.
Okay.
Okay, here are some quotes from '97. Oh my God, they killed Kenny.
Yeah.
South Park started.
That I remember. We
Jesus.
were in the kindergarten room when we first saw South Park at
Yeah,
Huron, and
right.
Melissa Thompson wouldn't stop laughing. She was crying.
And
She was
this
laughing so
wasn't
hard.
South Park. This was the Christmas
That's
card
right.
that Andy
Yeah.
sent us from
It was-
California.
that's right.
Andy moved
It
to
was
California.
Jesus versus
Here's the
Santa.
thing: how it started. Jesus versus Santa Claus was Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Andy, you might want to tell me
It
about
was called the Spirit of Christmas,
Right.
And apparently, it was a little video these guys made as like that they were hired to make it as some kind of Christmas card,
As a joke.
or some kind of like a joke video. And then George Clooney somehow saw it because he was in whatever, and he loved it so much that he made like 300 copies and sent it all over the place.
So he sent it to people, and it got copied and copied and copied.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
got a hold of a copy, and you sent it to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when
We
we were in
died.
Ohio at the House of Fun,
Mm-hmm.
we had a VHS copy of this thing, and it was before South Park was a thing. Nobody knew what it was. It wasn't. Even
Wasn't
on
it the
TV.
first time we saw it though at Huron? When
No,
we were in-
we brought it with
Oh,
us.
you brought it with
We
you.
had it at the House
Oh.
of Fun. So everybody would come over to our house like, hey, play that video. You got to play that video.
Oh, fun.
And everybody that watched that video was Jesus and Santa Claus, these children
Yeah.
like, cussing and
Yeah.
stuff. Like now it's completely
overdone.
mainstream. But
Yeah.
then it was like, what the hell
Yeah.
is this?
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ and Santa Claus, and Jesus Christ is yelling, "You fucking pussy!" at Santa Claus.
Right, and then these kids are yelling, "Fuck you, guys!" Like
Yeah.
all this shit, and it was like just off-putting these children, and, this little and so everybody would come over. We'd have parties and be, "Oh, put that video on! This
Yep.
is crazy! You're gonna believe!" And everybody would laugh their asses off. And then we brought it to Huron because we were like the cool king shit.
Yep.
And then I remember the first preview we saw when South Park was going to debut. They showed all the new shows on Comedy Central. They just showed snippets of everything. And there was a snippet of like the
Of
South Park characters. Like, holy shit, that's the kids from that
the-
video
yep,
that we
that's
have.
right.
They're gonna have a show. And then it became so big, we weren't cool for having that anymore.
Right.
But it was cool while it lasted. I mean, it's super cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And now that show is still going.
Yep.
It's 21 years.
That's
I haven't
insane.
watched it in probably 10 years.
yeah, I haven't
That's
watched a lot, but it's always still good.
Yeah.
When Nelson Mandela met the Spice Girls in '97, he described the moment as one of the greatest moments of my life.
Oh.
Well, he did spend a good chunk of his life in prison.
That's right.
So that accounts for that.
His brain was gone.
Yep.
I mean, like the bar is kind of low for that.
That's another 7.
Okay, wrestler Bret Hart. This is actually in here. This
Okay.
is my stuff.
Okay.
Wrestler Bret Hart was unaware that he was going to lose the WWF Championship belt during the 1997 Survivor Series.
The Montreal Screwjob.
This is referred to as the Montreal Screwjob.
So normally they're all in on it when they're going to lose.
yes, as you went on to this whole thing the other week about, it's
all
not
made up.
amazing, it's all fake, it's all scripted.
Well, it
but
is. But this
it's not
time it-
scripted
this time
when
it
he doesn't
wasn't.
know he's going to lose.
But
and
this was
so
the only time
this
it
is the
wasn't
only time.
scripted.
But it was pretty obvious to the fans and everybody else. All right, Brad Pitt sued Playgirl after they ran nude paparazzi pics of him and then girlfriend Gwyneth Paltrow on vacation.
I forgot they were the item.
Right, because we talked about last week her being married to all the Coldplay guys.
That's right.
I know
wait.
this is American
100%.
timelines, but we're going to jump over to Japan real quick.
Oh, yeah.
An episode of Pokemon
Yeah.
called Electric Soldier Porygon featured a scene with flashing lights which induced mass seizures in children across Japan.
Oh, my.
A subsequent news report replayed the offending scene and prompted more seizures.
What? Why would they play it again? If that was
Why am I laughing about it?
I don't know.
It's terrible. I'm just picturing a bunch of children having seizures, then the
And then
news
you're
report, and
laughing
then more people having seizures. That's
Oh, my
terrible.
God.
That's pretty dumb.
That's crazy.
Well, and then the second time they played it, it must have been more people having. I mean, it wasn't just children having seizures then, because everybody's watching the news. So then, like, adults are having
That prompted
seizures.
More
and stuff.
seizures, yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Mattel released Share a Smile Becky Barbie doll, who was disabled and came with a wheelchair. However, the doll created controversy when
Because she still had giant
it was
boobs.
pointed out that the Barbie dream house was not wheelchair accessible and could not accommodate Becky's
boom.
needs. God dang it.
Boom.
ADA.
Yep.
We need the ADA. Gosh.
Progress is slow.
Need some curb cuts in that dream house.
The Globe tabloid paper revealed an affair between Frank Gifford and Trans World Airlines flight attendant
Oh, yeah.
Susan Johnson.
Remember that?
The incident was at first not believed by his wife, Kathy Lee Gifford.
Yep.
But then it turned out to be true.
That's right.
And then that led to the infamous Regis and Kathy Lee episode where Frank Gifford showed up to try to apologize, and then Kathy Lee Gifford got on the table and delivered a high cross body block.
Yeah.
And pinned him for a 3 count and won the
Oh, did
championship.
Dave Hebner come out?
No,
Just
this
deal
is
with
not-
It was actually Earl Hebner.
None of this is true.
It was Earl Hebner.
His twins, speaking of twins.
Yeah, speaking of twins,
Yep.
the Hebners. There were referees who were twins.
All right,
And
all
one
right.
was evil. Okay, you guys want to guess the airplane celebrity death?
Thurman Munson.
Airplane celebrity death.
Nope, not Thurman Munson.
John Denver.
John Denver is
Oh,
correct.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Did he crash into a Rocky Mountain?
Rocky Mountain High.
No, he was high in the Rockies. Guess the hip hop violent death?
I
Biggie
know
or
it.
Tupac?
Biggie. It's
Yeah, it was Biggie. So remember last week?
I
said-
almost did Biggie.
But I also that's one of our corrections and apologies too later. Is that
Tupac was 6
I
months
mentioned
before.
I
Biggie.
mentioned that I thought Biggie was first. I got
No,
it mixed
Tupac
up,
was
but
first.
and so I was wrong. So that's why we didn't talk about
Yeah.
it. So rest in peace, Biggie. Movie and TV star death?
Movie. And
John Denver, we already covered it.
No, movie and TV star.
He was
a
in the
musician.
Muppets movie.
That's not it. There's another one. This was a cocaine and heroin overdose.
Oh,
River Phoenix.
Nope.
Chris Farley.
Yes.
Wow.
Good. Chris
Oh.
Farley. And
Was he in a little coat when he died?
Oh no.
No.
Okay.
But he died. I've been in the building that he died. He died in
That's
the
right.
Hancock Tower. He had an apartment there.
Oh, I've been in that building.
Yeah, and he had been at the Cheesecake Factory, I guess, was the last time they had seen him, which was in the building, which was kind of like, of course he was at the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
He was a big fat guy. But I have to mention this because this, not to make light of it, but in '97 when this happened, I distinctly remember this happening because Jeff Barton, friend of the show, Jeff Barton, idiot friend of mine in high school, he actually, the actor who played Shit Breath, Jeff Barton, who is now gone on to giant things, he called me that day and said, hey, how are you holding up?
How you holding up?
How are you holding up? And I was like, and he was like cracking, his voice was cracking.
Oh, my
He had been
God.
crying, and I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, did you hear the news? I was like, what news? What's going on? I was like, Farley, man.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh yeah, Chris Farley. Oh yeah, I heard. Yeah, that's crazy. He was like, oh, how you holding up? I'm like, how am I holding up? I didn't know him.
Yeah, I didn't know the guy.
Fine. I was like, he just did that ninja movie that nobody liked.
Yeah.
I was like,
Beverly
what?
Hills Ninja.
Beverly Hills Ninja. I was like, I'm fine. He was like, oh, I'm just having a rough day. I just can't
God.
get anything done. I can't do anything. I'm just like,
Well, like at the time, it would have been like, what if Adam Sandler had died then?
yeah.
To you, because Adam Sandler meant a lot
I mean,
to
it
you back
was
then.
tragic. It was terrible, but he looked. I mean, it was
he
clear.
was,
Last
he
time
was
he was
not
on
long for this
Live,
world.
He looked terrible.
He did.
Yeah.
I remember that he was sweating and he was
screaming and
it's-
sweating.
Yeah,
He was
and
all
hoarse.
hoarse.
Yeah.
It was all. I was like, oh, that's no surprise.
Yeah.
Okay, rock star death. Accidental autoerotic asphyxiation.
That would be Michael Hutchence of NXS.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I didn't know that
Every
was
song
97.
is Suicide Blonde. Sorry. I used to like to make fun of NXS because every song sounded like Suicide Blonde.
I don't think
Suicide Blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Devil inside.
He was cute though.
Suicide Blonde.
Michael Hutchence.
He was.
Yeah.
I
I went to. That was one of my first concerts. Was
In Excess?
when I was like a ninth grader.
Who was in it with him? Do you remember anybody else?
Johnny Rotten.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't it weird?
It just makes me. Anytime I says Johnny Rotten, I just picture
Rich singing My Way.
Rich always does My Way, and it's Johnny Rotten, so he just screams at it, karaoke at everybody.
Yep.
It's actually Sid Vicious that does the version of My Way.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, Rich always
He
says
always
it's
says Johnny Rotten. That's great. Rich is wrong.
Sex Pistols. But
Also Armand Crisp, you're wrong, bitch. No,
Yep.
that's funny because in excess, I really in my brain I always think of Aha
Oh.
and like
They're
Men
not as
Without
bad-
Hats. Like
not
all
as bad
those
as
lead
Aha.
singers are the same to me.
Yeah.
well,
Maybe I was too young in the '80s.
maybe. Their first hit, The One Thing, is the one that didn't sound like Suicide Blonde.
Yeah.
Everything else afterwards.
Yeah.
Suicide Blonde.
All right. Well, he died. Do you guys remember Melissa Drexler?
No.
No.
She gave birth in her high school bathroom during prom.
Oh my God.
She discarded the baby in the trash and returned to the prom.
Oh my God.
She was sentenced to 15 years for manslaughter, but was released on parole
So she
after
killed the
37
baby?
months. Yeah.
Oh.
I remember something like that.
No one can
happened.
know I'm having a baby at prom.
I don't remember that
Never
at
in my
all.
life.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
That
high
is
school.
crazy.
I've heard like 400 stories like that since then.
You
Yeah.
have?
Yeah, it's always like awful. I didn't know I was pregnant. There's a whole reality show
Yeah.
about that.
Oh, yeah, I
About
guess.
accidentally giving birth in
In the
toilets.
toilet.
Oh,
yeah.
I know someone, a friend, a sister of a friend. I'm not going to say the name
Yeah.
because in case this picks up steam.
Right, of course.
Um,
it is. It's really
but she gave
gonna-
birth in the toilet. She had no idea she was pregnant, and this child was
That's
born
crazy.
in a toilet.
How can you not know you're pregnant?
That's what I kept saying. How could she not know? It's crazy. But she said she had periods the whole time,
Unless you're a real heavy
and
person.
she had put on. She wasn't, but she had
What?
put on some weight, but she wasn't heavy. But she,
Did the baby survive?
yeah, he's fine. He's doing great.
What?
He's like 12 now or something.
That's bizarre. And he was born in a toilet.
He was born in a
You
toilet.
imagine
So
that?
every
He
time,
was born in a toilet.
every time she tells me about her sister, I'm like, "Oh, how's toilet baby?"
Oh,
Or
toilet
she talks about her nephew or whatever. I was like, "Oh, is that toilet baby or is that not?" It's like, yeah, she always says, "Yeah, that's toilet baby." Yeah,
Oh my
but
God.
I'm not going to bring up who
That's
it
so
is.
bizarre.
It's great. Yeah. Toilet baby. Do you remember the 60s? Maybe you remember. Remember the 60s TV show Lost in Space?
Yeah.
It was when it was written. It was supposed to take place in '97.
So was
Oh, wow.
RoboCop, the first RoboCop.
That was
movie.
supposed to take
really?
place in '97.
And
Huh.
Predator 2, I believe, was supposed to take place in
So that's
1997.
bullshit. By '97, we should have had people lost in space. We should have had a fucking robotic cop
Yeah.
And the
and
predator.
a fucking predator walking
invisible
around.
predator.
Danny Glover needed to fight an alien from outer space that was hunting people in Los Angeles.
Danny Glover rules.
Yep.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah, he was too old for that shit, though.
That's true.
Yep.
Oh, do you know Andy, Mr. Nerd Comic Idiot Nerd Dick? That's what we call you.
That is my name.
Yes.
That's on my business card, Mr.
Yeah.
Nerd Comic Idiot Nerd Dick.
Yep. That's right.
That's the name of my hobby shop.
That's your hobby shop. Oh, Nerd Dick Idiot, whatever I said.
You already forgot.
I already forgot.
Mr. Nerd Comic Idiot Nerd Dick.
Comic shop. Anyway, have you ever heard of the great comic strip Switcheroo of '97?
Oh, the one where Dennis the Menace and the Far Side switched their. Or
They
no,
said
it's-
several large comic strips switched creators for a day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard about that. I was thinking about the time when the caption from Dennis the Menace was under the Far Side and the Far Side was under Dennis the Menace, and it actually worked, and it was kind of weird. And
It was an
creepy.
accident. No, that's not that, you idiot.
Like Dennis the Menace was talking about eating people or something like that. I don't know, eating rats, because the other one was about snakes. Anyway, yes, Hagar the Horrible guy drew Far Side or something like that.
Hagar the Horrible is world renowned as the greatest
No, the Wizard
piece
of
of
Id.
art.
So the Wizard of Id,
Wizard
Shoe,
of Id.
and High and Lois.
Shoe is the greatest.
Yeah.
Are you up to date on Shoe?
No.
Okay.
What about Ziggy? You can't forget him.
What about when Funky Winkerbean? Like, remember when
Yeah.
they
Jumped.
skipped ahead? Like they didn't age, and then suddenly they did. Now they're old.
Yeah, that
All
was
old
weird.
and, like there was a whole. It
There's like a
became
rape.
drama.
Isn't there like a rape?
Yeah, and like somebody died of cancer. It was just
Yeah,
this
who
huge.
wants to read a
thing.
comic strip about rapes?
Yeah.
Um,
It used to be wacky high school hijinks, and then it became old person
rapes and cancer.
horrible
old
drama.
person rape. It was like raping old people. every
It was
go.
not.
Oh, the funny papers aren't funny anymore. They're filled with rape. Morgan Freeman offered to cover the cost of prom for a Mississippi school that held 2 racially segregated proms every year, provided that the one Freeman would be covering would just be one racially integrated prom.
Good for him.
The offer was refused until 2008.
So they were
Mississippi?
segregated till
Yeah.
2008.
Mississippi's crazy.
Well, in '96 we said that they didn't get rid of the slavery
Yeah, they didn't ratify the
Mississippi.
anti-slavery.
God.
until '96. So
Yeah.
God, that place is
Mississippi
backwards.
Yeah.
1997, on April Fool's Day, Alex Trebek and Pat Sajak fucked.
No.
Alex Trebek and Pat Sajak swapped places on Jeopardy and Wheel of
Swap
Fortune.
spit.
as an April
fluids.
Fool's Day. They swap fluids.
Good.
Oh, man.
Live on TV on the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Now, I'm
They're
not...
69 on the Wheel of Fortune.
They did. I'm not gay, but I would love to see Pat Sajak
Oh, here we go.
just bang the hell out of Alex Trebek for like hours.
I think that's gross.
1997.
Andy, do you take a Lipitor?
Lipitor.
Lipitor!
I will get you, He-Man.
I will destroy your cholesterol. I am Lipitor! Lipitor was invented in 97.
Jeez.
He destroys cholesterol.
Yes.
I can't hear that word without thinking.
Lipitor. Cost of a Super Bowl ad 97, do you think, Abe?
1 million and
15 and a half.
2 million.
Was
No.
the cost of a head of cabbage.
1,200,000.
Oh, I couldn't remember what it was last time.
Did we discuss the Montreal Screwjob in depth, or did we skip over it a little bit?
We kind of skipped over it because you were like, yeah, what's wrestling? I'm a piece of shit.
Basically, it was a big deal.
I got more wrestling stuff. The Royal Rumble in 1997.
I see.
The big deal. I didn't get to the WrestleMania, so I don't know what happened. But I just watched it on the WWE Network. WWE Network. You
Okay.
Can subscribe. You can advertise for $10 million a second.
All right, keep going.
Anyway, Stone Cold Steve Austin was throughout the whole Royal Rumble. He was in there for like 40 minutes, and several times he was the only person in the ring. Like he
Yeah.
would beat somebody, and then he'd like lay down and rest, and somebody else would come. And several times, like he got the
He'd
crap
sit on the
beat out-
turnbuckle and look at his watch.
and look at his watch and wait, and he would wait for people. And there were several times where he got the shit kicked out of him. He thought he would fall over, and he'd come back in. So then they clear out, and it's just all of a sudden, and Stone Cold gets thrown over the top rope,
Yeah.
and he's out. He's eliminated. His feet hit the floor and everything. He's all the way out. He slides back in, and he eliminates a whole bunch of people. The last person he eliminates is Bret the Hitman.
Yeah.
And Hitman's like, "Hey, dude, you were out. What the shit?" But the refs didn't see Stone Cold leave, so Stone Cold won.
Oh, so it was a ref
That's
bad
controversial.
call.
It's another controversy. Yeah,
Oh, the refs in pro wrestling.
it's a screw job.
Yeah,
But that
those poor
wasn't
refs.
the screw job.
That
That's
wasn't
got to be
the
a
sc-
thankless job to be a ref in the pro wrestling world because they are always getting
Right.
chairs
Yeah.
hitting on them.
Well,
and
that's
stuff.
it. They get like barely touched, and they're out cold for
Yeah.
just enough time to not see what happens with a purse
Right.
or something. But that leads me to believe that that was the beginning of the year, and the Survivor Series was in November. The Montreal Screwjob. That's kind of their theme. Like that was a screw job. Like I think the Montreal Screwjob was fake.
What
I
you
don't-
think?
I think it was.
No, like
He thinks it's real,
what happened
Nothing-
was
none
Bret
of it's
Hart
real.
was leaving the company.
right?
He was going to WCW, which was threatening WWF at the time because it was taking all their stars and
Right.
threatening to put them out of business. But what happened was Bret Hart was going to leave the company, and he arranged it so he was going to retire or leave the company as the champion and just like sort of vacate the title.
Yeah, I listened to this on Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard.
Okay.
That's a popular podcast that you should listen to.
I would
And
not-
He tells back.
I would not
stories.
listen to that podcast.
You wouldn't like
No.
it.
Basically, what happened was he was in a match with Shawn Michaels for the World Championship. The plan was for him to beat Shawn Michaels and then go off the next day as a champion. But Vince McMahon was not
What was that?
thrilled with that, the head of the WWF. And so instead, when there was a spot earlier in the match where Shawn Michaels had Bret Hart in a submission hold, Vince McMahon called for the bell to ring and said Bret Hart had tapped out and quit, so Shawn
Right.
Michaels became the champion. Bret Hart was all pissed about his grand exit being ruined, so he spat on Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he punched him in the face, I think. Yeah, he actually went backstage and punched him in the face, according
my
to the legend.
God.
And it was a big actual feud.
That wasn't on TV though.
No, that
The
wasn't
punch
on
in the
TV.
face?
That was all.
Oh.
But it was all.
The spit was, but
Oh, the spit was, but the punching in the face was
Was
like
just
you could
told.
hear it, right, or something. But
I don't know about that. But
it was released later as a movie on Netflix or whatever,
Oh,
the Bret Hart
God.
thing, and you could
Yeah.
Yep.
All
So
right.
that wraps up basically 97.
All right. Well, I got
That's 97 in a
something.
nutshell. And thank you for joining us
No,
for
wait,
American
it's my turn,
Time.
it's my turn, it's my
Oh
turn.
wait, now Amy's got to go into some gross murder.
Judy Smith was this nurse from the Boston area who had recently married a man named Jeffrey Smith, who was a lawyer, and he had to go to a conference in Philadelphia.
All right.
So she's going to go with
you
him,
do? Oh, she's gonna go with.
see some sights. You know, they're kind of newlyweds.
All right.
So when they get to the airport to check in
Seems
for
like it's
their
taking
flight,
advantage of the company. It's just my.
well, it doesn't matter.
This is what I
when
have against
when they get
this.
to the airport to check in to their flight, Judy suddenly realizes she forgot her driver's license, which was a pretty new thing that they had to do, was to have a driver's license to fly.
Oh, that
so
was
she
new.
realized she
I
didn't
have to
have
a
it.
driver's license. Shit, I forgot it.
So she told her husband that to go on ahead, and then she would go get her driver's license and then catch a later flight and meet him.
Oh, meet him in
at
Boston.
in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, sorry.
Yes. So
Same thing.
that evening she caught up to him in the lobby of the DoubleTree Hotel.
Oh, they did get retouch with each other.
That's
the DoubleTree.
the DoubleTree Hotel,
Okay.
where the conference was being held.
Oh,
So
convenient.
the next morning they get up and he goes down to breakfast, and then he comes back and
The continental breakfast.
yeah.
Are we thinking like waffles, like those liquid waffles that some
Probably.
lady in a moo is like
Yeah.
just
Putting
hogging
cheap-
everything,
putting
and
it
you have
all
to
over
like,
the place.
ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, you've had enough Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
Can you please step away from the continental
So
breakfast?
they decide that she's going to go walk around and see the sights, and he's going to go do his conference stuff for the day.
honey, I saw the Liberty
And,
Bell. I saw the
um,
Rocky statue.
And then they would meet up later for dinner.
Cocktails.
And she has this red backpack that she always has.
You
that
always
she
got to
carries-
bring the red backpack.
Carries around with her everywhere
Judy.
she goes.
What was her name?
Judy.
Judy, do you have to bring your
And
damn red backpack?
So she wanted to
everywhere?
go see the Liberty Bell and Independence Hall and all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
There's a cocktail party at 6 that night.
There's a party that night at 6, so she's out seeing the sights
Yes. So
with
when
a fucking
he,
red backpack.
That's right.
She insists on taking it everywhere.
That's right. When he finishes,
And he's doing work, like he's
yeah,
working.
Yeah. When he
And here's the wife, just
All right.
Judy
All
with
right.
her fucking backpack. Sorry.
Listen.
Sorry.
So then when he finishes for the day,
He's done with the day with his
comes,
conference.
goes back up to their room, and she's not there.
Oh my God, where's Judy?
So
fucking backpack.
he
Was the
assumes
backpack
that
there?
she no, nothing's there.
Nothing.
So he assumes she returned and changed and went to the party ahead of him. And when
That bitch went to the party without me. Is what he's thinking.
that's what he's
He
thinking.
assumed.
He assumed.
He assumed. So when he goes downstairs to check, though,
Fucking
she's
Judy.
not there. So he keeps going back and forth between the room and the party different times. And
Shit, where the
can't
fuck
find
is
her.
Judy?
Doesn't know where she is.
Now
This
keep
is
in mind,
97, before cell phones.
We don't have cell phones.
That's right,
You
that's
can't
right.
text.
So he goes to the concierge and asks her, and then they start calling hospitals to see if
Calling
anybody's-
hospitals is what you did before
Well-
cell phones?
Well,
you just started calling
she's
hospitals.
missing. He knew she was out by herself
Well,
in
yeah.
the city somewhere.
I know. I'm just saying how crazy that is. That's what you would do.
So
That's insane. You just call hospital. Well, here's the list of all the hospitals. Do you have Judy with she's got a red backpack?
so Jeffrey finally leaves the cocktail party, and he pays a cab to go around it to follow the route
Wait a minute.
of the tour
Wait a
bus
minute.
that
He
she was
finally
gonna take.
leaves the cocktail party, so he's having a couple cocktails.
He's had it, probably. I don't know.
My wife is missing in Philadelphia.
I don't know. That's what it says.
Anyway.
So he gets a cab to follow the route that this tour bus was taking around Philadelphia that she was planning to use.
Oh, keep in mind you can't take an Uber because that's not a thing yet.
Correct.
So he has
Take a cab. He's going the route that she wanted to go see all the sites. The
he
Liberty
asks-
Bell.
He calls his stepchildren
Rocky
and
statue.
asks one of them to go to the house and check the answering machine.
His stepchildren,
Yeah, her kids.
her kids, but not his.
Right.
Okay.
So
Check the answering
nothing.
machine.
Don't have anything.
Yeah, because you have to check the answering machine.
That's
That's
right.
what you had to do.
Finally, he goes to the police after around midnight to report that
He
she's
doesn't go to the
missing.
police till midnight.
Well, he's been looking. He doesn't know.
All the hospitals had nothing.
Nothing. The Philadelphia police tell him they can't file a missing person report until 24 hours after, which I think is different now. I think that was, and I'm not positive about that.
A
but
missing person. I think you have to
I-
wait
I
still
don't-
a certain amount of time.
I know that used to be a thing, but I think at least with children, that's not a thing anymore.
Oh.
So
Because now we have Amber Alerts because we all have phones that we stare at all day.
So he recalls that a detective said if he
Play
wanted
Candy
to,
Crush.
if he wanted to push it, he could file a report in the morning. So
Push it.
stop it. So
Push it real good.
he does that. He goes in the morning.
So he slept in the hotel, the DoubleTree,
Filed
by
a
himself?
report, yeah.
Without his wife, and then it went back in the morning?
Yeah, and went back to file their missing person report. There's nothing else he could do.
I mean, as far as he knows, maybe she ran off with some other dude in Philadelphia and just cheating on him or something. She doesn't necessarily know.
Yeah.
Well, she is Judy with her goddamn gaudy red backpack.
What's in that backpack? Could be
Dildos.
like-
A
yeah.
backpack full of dildos is what I'm assuming.
Could be.
At this point.
That's true.
Sex
Could be.
toys.
Could
You never
be.
know, because he could be half worried and half upset and angry.
So he says the police were kind of dismissive of his
Philadelphia cops.
complaints.
not
Yeah,
being
he
good.
says there was
Yeah, what's the
resistance. He said that even 4 days later, he said this.
4 days later.
He says one of the cops was saying she probably had a midlife crisis and is just doing this for attention.
Yeah, she has grown kids, so
And,
they're right. They're right. I'm with the cops on this one.
So they also were focusing on him as a suspect.
Well,
And they were
it's
saying,
always the husband.
When you look at statistics, 85 and 90% of females are
That's the
murdered
thing.
or
If
killed
anything
by
happens to a woman,
a family member.
whoever was their most recent love interest is going to jail immediately and
Yes.
being raped in prison.
That's probably true. So
At any point during all this, did like a punky kid come by who was shooting some b-ball outside
No.
of the school?
No.
A couple of guys.
No,
who
that was
good?
91. It was 1991.
Oh.
This is 97.
Oh, right. Sorry.
so
They probably already sold the
was
mansion to
already in
George
Bel
Louisa
Air.
Jefferson by the
Right.
time.
all right. So Judy was a very experienced traveler. So she had gone to Thailand on her own to
Oh.
visit the family of a patient she had had.
So you really wouldn't worry about Judy.
So right, but he also wondered why she would forget her driver's license since she's such an experienced traveler.
If you're so experienced, Judy.
But he told police that
passport in it.
that was only an 18-month rule, and she had only flown once during that time.
Oh,
so
it
was
only been in
possible.
place for 18 months?
Yes.
So maybe she took a break between Thailand and all the other places.
Yeah, she did. So,
I'm
according to
trusting
police,
Judy.
only one other witness, a desk clerk, could corroborate him on having seen Judy at the hotel at all. Which
Only one desk clerk saw her?
yeah, which did not have a guest register.
I assume no security cameras or anything either.
No, until another
didn't
conference.
have those
then
then.
another conference attendee recalled in August that he had seen her in the lobby when she arrived. The police were still cautious. They were still like, was she ever even really in Philadelphia?
So they think the husband is making out like he murdered
Yeah.
her in
Yeah.
Boston
Yeah, and he just went by on his
and
own.
then just flew, and
And
she
he
may have never come
Never
because he
even
flew by
showed up.
himself.
Right.
They-
So
right.
that might be his cover, which is brilliant.
The
Right.
airline didn't confirm her presence either? Or did they just not care because
Did they-
they got
could
so
they
many
not have-
people every day?
yeah, I don't know if they.
Oh, you got to do some more
How many
research.
red backpacks do they see in a day?
Goddamn
and
Judy.
a female detective who searched the Smiths hotel room said it struck her as unusual that the clothes Judy left behind did not appear to have been worn at all, suggesting she wore the same clothes both on her flight from Boston the day she disappeared.
Yeah, Judy's
Nor
kind
did
of-
she appear to have brought any cosmetics.
Well, she was sort of a natural.
But the daughter
woman.
said those were both typical behaviors of her mother. So
Yeah, they were like, Mom doesn't wear a lot of makeup. She wears a lot of the same clothes every day. Mom kind of smells. It's that backpack.
the police also made much of
She
what
smells
they.
like cat pee.
The police also
Has ham in it.
Has
made
a lot
much
of
of what
ham.
they asserted was Jeffrey's refusal to take a lie detector test. But he said he never refused.
Here
He
we go.
only insisted that any such test be administered by the FBI, and if he passed, the police formally request that the Bureau assist with its investigation, which to me makes sense. God damn it.
Son of a bitch.
We'll pause because Joe is an idiot that spilled water all over everything in the world.
Okay,
All
so
right, so where were we at?
so he
Back up a
said
little bit. Redo everything. Let's start over.
He
From
oh, the
beginning.
completely.
From the beginning. The Super Bowl champions.
All right. The police
the old
also
helmets.
made much of what they asserted was Jeffrey's refusal to take a lie detector test.
Right.
But he said he never refused. He only insisted that if the test was administered, it would be administered by the FBI, and that if he passed,
Rather than the local
police
police.
would formally request that the Bureau help with the investigation.
At this point, he's not trusting the police because the
No.
police are being dismissive.
Well,
jerk
and,
Oh, yeah.
and
suspecting
there's
him.
so many cases where the police have all this pride, and if it's a missing person, they don't call the FBI, and the FBI has all
wars.
of these. FBI has all these
Territorial
tools
kissings.
that they.
Also, there's a thing with lie detector tests. They're not really that
they're not
conclusive.
They're not. They're not admissible
You
in court.
tell me every night before bed. I say, good night, honey, I love you. And you
Yeah.
say, I don't really believe in lie detector tests.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
I'm not
So
taking
you know,
one.
that's
and then
right.
you
Right.
we roll over and go to sleep.
So there's a couple possible sightings of Judy in the
Oh,
days
and the
days
red
after she
backpack.
disappeared. The newspapers and television ran stories about the case.
Okay.
Jeffrey and friends and family put up flyers with her picture, and so this led to reports of sightings. A number of reports described a woman who matched Judy's description but appeared to have psychological issues.
So white woman, red backpack, crazy.
Yeah, she was described by the staff at Society Hotel as their weirdo of the week when she stayed there between April 13th and 15th, signing in as H.K. Collins. While there, and you'll love this, she masturbated in front of an open window,
Woo!
spoke to herself in tongues, and then loudly claimed the emperor would wire her money when she needed to extend her stay.
Did the emperor ever do that?
No. But
Are we talking Star Wars Emperor or Japan
I-
Emperor?
Not
Also, did she
sure.
have the red backpack on while she was masturbating?
maybe.
That's what I really want to know.
Another report.
Wait. Back up.
Yeah.
What were the dates she's staying at the hotel?
This is just a woman matching her
Right.
description. April 13th and 15th.
And what were the days she was missing and all that? Do we know that? April 9th and 10th?
Yeah, it was like that.
Oh, speaking of April 9th, just to get a perspective here, April 9th, the top songs were Puff Daddy, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, the Spice Girls, Tell Me What You Want, What You Really Want, and Jewel, You Were Meant For Me. And on TV that night, on April 9th, were Men Behaving Badly on NBC. Remember that show?
No.
Oh, God.
This was set in Indianapolis. The show starred Rob Schneider, Ron Eldard, and Justine Bateman.
Oh, wow.
And
You remember that?
Yeah, it was based on a British show, I think.
yeah, it was.
I knew Rob Schneider was in it.
It was
but-
a spin-off of it was like a copy of a British show. Justine Bateman later quit the show because Rob Schneider was such an asshole.
Yeah, he still is, I think.
But Arsenio was on ABC that night also. Not Arsenio Hall, the talk show.
What?
He had a sitcom called Arsenio.
That's correct.
He did?
Where he played a guy named Mike.
What?
So why the hell was the show called Arsenio?
Arsenio. That's stupid.
It was set in Atlanta, Georgia, and Hall starred as Michael Atwood, the host of a sports cable show on ASTV in Atlanta. He is also a newly married man with his lawyer wife, Vicky DeVoe Atwood, played by Vivica Fox.
All right.
I
that
remember
was on
that
the
show.
night. Yeah, you remember that show?
I never watched it, but I remember thinking, this is Arsenio Hall's one chance to come back, and then it sucked.
Didn't work.
So I
And
remember
then
thinking-
April 10th. Is this all we're talking about April 10th, or are we
Yeah.
going to get into April 10th more?
No, that was it.
Slim Jesus was born on April 10th, 97.
No
He's
idea.
a horrible rapper. Look him
Yeah.
up on YouTube and try not to kill yourself.
Okay. Another report mentioned a woman at the junction of Broad and Locust Street around 3 p.m. on the day Judy was last seen, and this woman looked disoriented. And then there were some other reports of a similar woman also apparently disturbed in the neighborhood, but both the police and the family believe that the people that saw this woman were confusing Judy with a local homeless woman who looked similar to her. There was another homeless man in the same area who, when they showed Judy's picture to him, he insisted that he saw her, and he knew the other homeless lady that they
Didn't
were.
know that was two different people?
Yeah, and he knew
This
they
was
were
in
two
Philly,
different people.
right?
Yeah,
In Philadelphia,
yeah, this
right?
is all. So sightings that seemed a more positive identification were centered around the bus, the tour bus that she was going to go on and its route.
Okay.
A hotel employee said she asked later on the morning of April 10th where she could catch the bus nearby. A driver said he had picked her up early in the afternoon, and she was also reportedly seen entering and leaving the Greyhound bus terminal.
Oh,
The-
she's getting out of town.
The terminal is near Chinatown, and since Judy loved Chinese and Thai food, she might have gone there to eat.
I actually like Chinese and Thai food myself.
Yes. So
Nothing
then
better, some Pad CU.
she was also reported to be dress shopping at Macy's and
Put on
different
some
places.
dresses, taking some
Yeah.
Pad CU on the Greyhound bus, filling up her red backpack.
And so there was different sightings of
That's not a
her.
problem with a red backpack.
Another one where she had been seen in Easton, which is 55 miles north of Philadelphia, a few days after going missing. The husband hired a private investigator.
It's crazy.
He hired private investigators to look for his wife, and then he faxed and mailed copies of his wife's missing persons flyer to hospitals all over the country, asking them to look for her.
Private investigators are always scumbags, aren't they?
Eventually, these
They're
efforts
like
helped to
cops who aren't
locate
allowed to
her.
be cops anymore.
Yeah.
Eventually,
What's that?
eventually, these efforts helped to locate her.
Oh, they do. Sending their stuff
however,
out to
yeah.
all the
However, she was not
states
alive.
in the country.
Oh.
Oh.
So on
They found her dead?
On September 7th, 1997.
Oh, September 7th, 1997.
Yes.
That happens to be the same day as In Your House Ground Zero, a wrestling event
Oh my God.
that happened in Louisville, Kentucky. And the highlight of this wrestling match, the same night they found her body,
Yeah.
apparently, was the same night as the Indecent Proposal match between Goldust and Brian Pillman.
Why wasn't it an indecent proposal? That's
Because
like sex for
Goldust-
money.
Goldust's girlfriend was Marlena,
Oh.
and the match was if whoever won the match got to keep the lady.
That's so sexist.
And
Well, and Goldust's whole gimmick was being basically gay panic.
oh.
kind of like he was covered in gold stuff, but he had this hot chick lady that he was in
Oh,
love with.
I see.
And so the ref got knocked out by Brian Pillman. He accidentally bumped the ref once. He was unconscious and hurt his eyes. And Pillman hit Goldust with Marlena's purse, which
Oh,
was
my
loaded
God.
with something. Knocked him out and pinned. And then so Brian Pillman takes Marlena into a car. And they show him in the alley. He runs off with it, forces
Yeah.
her into a car, and goes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, this was not a great.
It was
era.
terrible. It was a
No,
terrible
that
era.
sounds awful.
So, but also that night, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction was on. Remember that
I
show?
love
We
that
used to
show.
love
I
that show.
used to love that show.
It was so great. You'd always guess.
Which one was real?
Like they had facts and fiction,
fake
and,
ones.
and three stories, and you have to guess. Is
and they
this
were all
real or
weird,
not?
like beyond belief stories. So they were
Yeah.
all like Ripley's Believe It or Not.
We
type
love
things.
that show.
But they would tell
Is
you
the
at the
Yeti
end.
real? Is the Sasquatch real?
No, they
or
would be
is
like
the-
the story I'm telling right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
but
then
is
they
this
would say,
yeah.
did that really happen?
They would
And you
make
have
up.
to-
Yeah,
you
sometimes
have
it'd
to
be
guess.
alien. Oh, that was real. Oh, that was real. What?
Yeah.
That was great. And then Tom Arnold had a show called The
Oh,
Tom
that's all
Show.
we need to know.
The Tom Show.
Yeah, really.
We don't even need to know that part.
Nope.
Tom Arnold had a goddamn show.
That's awful.
That's,
That's awful.
That's it.
So-
I think I have from September.
So on
There's
September
some-
7th, 1997, a father and son were hunting for deer on a hillside in an area of North Carolina's Pisgah National Forest.
North Carolina?
Yes.
This is far away from Philadelphia,
Yes,
just
this
so you
is
know.
the 600 miles away.
Those of you millennials who are listening who don't know geography, North Carolina is nowhere near Philadelphia.
600 miles away.
All right?
So they find what appears to be human bones near the Stony Fork picnic area.
As you
The
do.
bones have been scattered around an area 300 feet in diameter, likely by animals. At
Yeah.
the center was a shallow grave where the majority of the skeleton remained, still partially buried and clothed. Some personal effects were found in the area as well.
Red bad
The lead
bad.
investigator on the case put aside his convalescence from recent back surgery to scout. Okay, that doesn't matter.
That's
No,
convalescence.
that makes it a TV movie.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I
Yeah.
gotta get out of. Like,
I got out of the
that's-
bed.
Burt
Yeah.
Reynolds is playing that character.
So
Yeah.
the state medical examiner determined that the bones of the then unidentified decedent were those of a white woman between ages of 40 and 55. And had
They tell by the bones that she was a white woman?
Yeah, they can.
That was 45?
Yep, they can.
Man, white
She
woman,
had
45 bones.
extensive dental work and suffered from a severe arthritis in her knee.
That's Judy.
There were cutting marks on her ribs, and among the clothing recovered from the scene was her bra, which also had cuts and punctures.
What size, bro?
Stop
Just
it.
wondering.
The investigation concluded she'd been fatally stabbed, and her death was officially classified as a homicide. The remains did not remain unidentified for long.
Really?
An emergency room physician in Franklin, North Carolina, saw an article about the discovery in the newspaper and connected it to one of the flyers Jeffrey had sent out, and faxed a
What?
copy of the article to the Philadelphia police. A detective there asked for Jeffrey for his wife's dental records.
Whoa.
And
so they always use
They
that.
always use the dental records
In all those forensic files, dental records can
because
fucking find
nobody has
anybody.
the same teeth.
Guess so.
So they matched the dental work on the bones, and by the end of September, the remains were positively identified as Judy Smith.
She made it all the way to North Carolina.
Yes. So while the discovery of her remains ended the missing person, the homicide investigation it started posed new questions for the detectives, like
Like, what the hell happened?
how the hell did she get 600 miles away and up in the woods, way up in this hiking trail?
With her red backpack was one of the belongings, right?
No. So,
Then
and I'll
what?
get there. Her leg bones were still clad in jeans, thermal underwear, and hiking boots. These were not the clothes she was wearing when Jeffrey or any of the other witnesses who might have seen her in Philadelphia saw her, but they were what she might have worn while out hiking in the mountains around Asheville in mid-April. No wallet or other identification was found in her pocket. A blue and black vinyl backpack was found with the body.
That ain't hers.
In it were winter clothes and $80 in cash. A shirt buried nearby also had $87 in the pockets.
87 in the shirt.
So the combined $167 is consistent with the $200 Jeffrey believed she had on her at the time she disappeared.
How many? This is like 5 months later?
September.
That's crazy.
So the presence of the money in her wedding ring led investigators to conclude the robbery was not a motivation. However, her red backpack was not found, nor other clothes she was wearing when last seen.
that amount of money wouldn't still be there in 5 months, though.
It was there.
Who's got the same amount of money in their pocket 5 months later?
Well, unless she got something happened to her right away.
Huh.
So
Yeah, 'cause
also,
she decomposed. At this point, so
Sasquatch. Oh, that's true. She might have.
She
Yeah,
might have
she
been
might
killed right away
decompose
and
all
then
that time.
dumped 600
Yeah.
miles away. So
Because it's
we
just
go.
bones.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So-
sorry. I apologize.
There was also
everyone.
there was
been
also
drinking.
an expensive pair of sunglasses with the body that
Oakley's.
they were. I don't remember, but the family said she never would. They were like $100 sunglasses, and
She's not that kind of person.
not the
She's
kind
a
of person
frugal.
that would have bought those.
She's a frugal
So-
broad.
The family could not imagine why she might have gone to Asheville area.
Asheville.
According to them, she never expressed any desire to go there.
I really want to go to Asheville just for the breweries. There's a lot of breweries there.
Yeah.
Now.
So
Probably wasn't in
several
97.
I've been at
people,
97.
20 years ago.
several people in the Asheville area recalled having seen her
Asheville.
or a woman matching her description in
Really?
April. So there was a clerk at a local store said that she was very pleasant. She was very
Not
alert,
crazy, not like
crazy.
out of it.
She talked about how her husband, they're from Boston, and her husband is a lawyer, and he's at this
Boston.
attending a conference in Philadelphia, and that she decided to go to the Asheville area. And an employee at the Biltmore Estates also recalled seeing her.
The Biltmore Estates. So she was telling people she left the conference without telling
That's
her
what she
husband.
said. And then at a campground
That's
near
what she
where her
said.
body was found, the owner recalls she drove up in a gray sedan filled with boxes and bags, asked if she could spend the night there in her car, and drove away after learning she could not. A deli owner in the same area told police that she came up to her store in a gray sedan and bought $30 worth of sandwiches and a toy truck. So the theories, this is
30 sandwiches.
This is winding it up. So investigators with the sheriffs, they have ruled out Jeffrey Smith. First of all, he was rotund. He was
He's a fat guy.
gigantic man, and there's no way he could have drug her body all the way up in these hills and buried her.
Right. They just physically he couldn't do it.
Physically unable to have taken her body
So
up the slope
big-
where it was
big-
found.
Big buddy.
Yes.
You never mentioned anybody's size.
And his presence at the conference during the day she disappeared, it was also corroborated.
Yeah, he was there. So, but it seems like the dudes always hire somebody anyway.
Hire somebody
whenever
else.
that happens. So it doesn't really clear it for me.
What was the company he worked for again?
He was
This
a lawyer.
Fat Boston guy, fat Boston lawyer.
Fat
Fat Boston Patriots
Yeah.
fan.
So the
You know, he loves Tom
detective who investigated the case believes she was not abducted and she came to Asheville voluntarily.
Okay.
He wanted to determine how and why when, in 1997, he did not believe Judy was killed elsewhere and dumped at the site due to the distance. Anyone, even someone in the best physical condition, would have had to carry her body to dispose of it there. So she was kind of a bigger woman, too.
Oh, they're
and
hefty
so,
folks. A hefty couple.
So they think she was killed there, up in the hills.
And he
up in the
never,
hills.
he never expressed any thought like, oh, yeah, our marriage is going bad.
No,
or
there
we're
was
fighting.
tension in the marriage, according to some sources. So she may even have planned to disappear for a while. While Jeffrey and her children did not say there had been any problems in the marriage, one of her friends said that there was tenuous relationships going on. Robbery was not a motive. It has also been suggested she might have encountered a local serial killer who had less than a year earlier left the raped and murdered body of one of his victims tied to a tree not far away. That was Gary Michael Hilton. But he was later...
That was in Asheville?
Mm-hmm. He was later arrested and convicted of that crime, as well as several other killings on hiking trails during the 2000s, and has not been linked to Smith's killing. And it was also featured on an Unsolved Mysteries
And
episode.
you watched that, I'm assuming?
I did watch that, yes. So that is the story of Judy Smith.
It is still unsolved to this day.
It's still unsolved. There's nobody knows why she ended up in Asheville 600 miles away and what happened to her.
She was going to go see the sights in Philadelphia, got on a Greyhound, went to Asheville, maybe got on the wrong Greyhound.
Yeah.
But
got on the wrong
you wouldn't
bus.
have get off 600 miles and you wouldn't have said, I need to turn around.
Well, maybe she didn't realize.
She fell asleep?
Yeah,
It's just so
could have fallen asleep
far.
because,
No,
jet lag from Boston.
Because Greyhounds don't just go they don't just, I don't think they just go oh, this one's going to here, and then here, and then here, and here. You
Maybe
can
an
stay
express.
on. I think you have to buy a ticket to your destination.
Oh, I
That's
think
it.
that's true.
I don't think they just go
It's not like an L
like a
train.
city bus
Yeah.
that just goes, you have to go.
Or maybe she didn't like her fat, sweaty lawyer husband and decided to get the hell out of Dodge and then went,
Went
to the wrong
hiking?
place. Yeah.
Maybe he wiped
encountered
backwards.
the-
Wait, did we get around to the red backpack? It got
Yeah, you
found.
never
No,
talked
it didn't get found.
Oh,
Well,
Never-
why'd you bring it up?
Well, because they...
it was
that-
it was
when people
descriptor.
and when people
Oh,
saw
it
her...
really sounded like the way you brought up that it would be a thing. And here was the red backpack
No,
hanging from a
red
tree.
backpack
and then-
was never found.
I was just hoping for more on the red backpack thing.
Yeah.
Thought
Was that a
about
bad
it.
one?
No,
No, it's pretty good. I
Okay.
mean, I always feel kind of disappointed when I don't know what happened.
I know.
but
But
that's what makes it a spooky
Mystery.
mystery.
It's exciting, yeah. These mysteries is just like, I want to know. Now I want to know what the hell
Yeah.
happened. And I like to
how
speculate.
she ended up there.
I think she probably just left him. And I wonder if some of those disillusioned spottings of her were her, like maybe having some
Maybe.
kind of psychotic break or,
Maybe something was going on.
I mean, were there any reports of any mental health issues?
No, none.
Nothing
Maybe-
at all.
None at all.
yeah.
Did
That's
she
why it was
maybe
so weird.
she asked for an aspirin and someone gave her a
Oh, maybe she
crazy
got
pill.
roofied.
You never know. Somebody might have snuck something in her
Yeah,
or,
and she didn't know what was going on, or maybe
Yeah,
or had a
something-
stroke.
Oh, that
Oh,
could be.
yeah.
You know, you have a
could be.
stroke and just be out of it. And
Isn't
kinda
that scary?
crazy. Yeah.
Imagine that. Like any of us could at any moment all of a sudden
And
have a stroke.
back then you didn't have a cell phone. Who knows
yeah,
where you end
you
up
don't know what
going?
you're going to... in a strange city, wandering around.
Corrections and apologies.
The first correction and apology that I have, the first correction from last episode is briefly we mentioned Coldplay because they formed in 96 or 96.
Yeah.
And I said briefly, I was like, oh, you got Coldplay mixed up with Dave Matthews.
They're the same-
You said Crash Into
same
Me was them.
different- I
And I was
know.
like, no, it wasn't. But I corrected you. That was right. But then I said, no, Coldplay I think is more rockish. I think they're a little bit more heavy. And they're not. I also said they're probably pretty good. They suck.
Well,
listened
and
to all
aren't
their
they
Coldplay
similar
songs.
to Dave Matthews? Like,
Yeah,
it
they're
sounds
kind of like
just like
whiny
it?
and
Yeah.
crappy. They're terrible. And I'm sorry. Anyone who likes Coldplay, if you're listening, I don't want you as a listener.
No, don't say that.
Stop listening.
Don't say that.
Fuck you, Coldplay fans. No, I'm just kidding. No. I still want you guys. I just don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
get your. I
It
mean,
was all yellow.
yeah, I don't
It's like
get it.
Trump.
I like them better
Coldplay
than
fans and
Dave
Trump
Matthews.
fans.
Do you like Coldplay?
I mean, I wouldn't say that because I know that song and I know they're.
I listened to like 7 of them
They
on
did
YouTube.
a-
They all sound the same to me. They all sound like that Yellow song to
They're all
me.
kind of dreary.
And they're all not good.
They
I don't
were.
like it.
They
That
did
sounded
a
like the kind
Super
of
Bowl
music.
halftime show once.
Yeah, they did. That's what I remember that
Yeah.
being a thing.
But
That's
also
recent.
with like Beyonce and Bruno Mars
Right.
or something like that. So
And I guess I just don't get that's just not my thing. So
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Coldplay fans, we love you.
your thing is Quiet Riot.
And I love you guys. My
Yeah.
thing is Quiet
Quiet
Riot.
Riot.
Come on,
That's the only music you like is
I
Quiet
just listen
Riot
to
and
Quiet
Motley
Riot
Crue.
on a
Corrections and apologies.
Said in the last episode that Gwyneth Paltrow, all of her children were named after fruit. I said she has a child named rutabaga,
Yep.
and she does not have a
No.
child named rutabaga. I didn't research anything else. I just wanted to admit that I was lying.
I think she's got a child named Moses, though.
That's not a fruit.
No, I know, but that's an awful name.
I bet if there was a fruit named Moses, it'd be delicious.
Maybe not.
Corrections and apologies.
I'm apologizing for you.
Oh.
You should apologize.
What is it?
You said there were not 2 Vanessa Williamses last episode.
No, but I know
said there
you
was
told
only
me
one.
there. But
No, you
you're
said there was
thinking
only
of
one.
the same one when you're thinking of the porn thing and the Miss America thing and the singer. That
Several
is the
times.
same one.
Several times I said there's not 2 Vanessa Williams, and you were like, no, there's just one. There's a Vanessa L. Williams and a Vanessa A. Williams.
But the one
They're both
you're
famous
thinking
actresses.
of, the one you're thinking of, did the porn thing and the Miss America and the singing.
And also
was the same.
the other thing, it
one.
wasn't a porn. She did not do porn.
It wasn't a porn. It was pornographic still photos.
But she did not authorize those. She
Right.
did not pose. They
Right.
were stolen from Penthouse, stole them and printed them.
Right.
And so she was forced to resign her crown or
Right,
whatever of
that's
Miss
right.
America.
Yep.
Later, Miss America apologized and gave her stuff back, I guess, because they were like, oh, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
They
Or,
stole it.
you're famous and successful, therefore.
Yeah,
that's
that's
probably
right.
why they did it
Yeah,
too.
it
Yeah,
is.
who knows? They're all, yeah. Okay, and the other thing, but there were 2. So admit, there were 2. Say it. Say
Well,
it.
I'm sure there's several
The other
in
one
the
was
world.
on ER or something, right?
Yeah, she was famous, like real
Oh,
famous.
she
And
was.
she won an Oscar or a Golden Globe or some shit. I shouldn't say.
Corrections and apologies.
And Richard Jewell, who you thought was Richard Hatch, he was the guy, the bombing,
The Atlanta bombing.
Atlanta
That's
bombing,
right.
and you decided to speculate on what happened to him because we didn't have the
Yeah.
information. You said he probably killed himself.
Yeah.
Because that's always how those things end. He did not kill himself.
Good.
He had a heart attack. He was a
Oh.
heavier guy, so he
Yeah.
had a heart attack and died.
He did get exonerated.
He did. He was
He did.
completely exonerated, and they all apologized. And he sued a whole bunch of people.
Good for him.
Because late night talk shows
Yeah, they were
defamed
making fun of
him,
him
and they
and
all
everything.
just said he definitely did it. So he sued all of them and got a bunch of money.
Good. Did he die shortly after that, or
No, a few years after. I think he died in. I should have written that down. But
Okay.
he
So
lived
he
for
was-
a
he
little bit,
could
at least 5 years.
at least
after that.
live to see that he was exonerated?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was
That's
alive
good.
for all that, and he won a bunch of money. And won
Okay.
some lawsuit. Then he had a heart attack because he ate too many breakfast burritos. I'm
Probably.
sorry,
No, that's
He
true.
died in 2007.
Oh, good. So
2007,
he did
it's
live.
another 10 years
Yeah.
at least after 11 years. So
Yep.
that's good. But I think it's about time to get
Yep. Get out of here, Chuck Berry.
out of here, Chuck Berry. Andy, you want to say get out of here, Chuck Berry?
Get out of here, Chuck Berry.
And please purchase
Get out
Matt.
here, dummy.
Please, get out here, dummy. Please purchase Matt Truman Ego Trips albums. They're good. And
Yep.
He's gonna play some music now.
All right. Good night.
Anything else? Fuck you guys.
Too legit.
Tickets, ripping paper, yeah, starting fires. Oh, top 40 Japan. What'd you think, man? Top 40 Japan, yeah. Would you expect my